We started dabbling in basement repair, Dave, early 2000s.
Dabbling, maybe putting up a beam here, putting up a beam
We
there.
worked for another company. My partner and I at the time worked for another company. They had
Okay.
since gone out of business, and they were kind of looking in that route. So we decided to go off on our own and engaged basement repair and never looked back.
Hello, everyone. This is Dave Colasari, Homesight Home Inspection Service. Another episode of Homesight Insight, and we have the man here, the man with the plan, the accurate basement guy, Chris Mancuso.
That's
Correct? I said that right.
Correct. Christopher Mancuso.
And thank you so much for being here. I
Yep.
didn't think maybe you'd run out and help us or interview with us just for the simple fact that you're busy. Are you not busy?
We stay pretty busy. We stay pretty consistently busy, but you're a good partner of ours, and we like to get out and get the word out about home site and accurate basement repair. So we're excited to be here and intermingle with folks and hopefully give them some good words of wisdom about their basements and home inspections.
I appreciate that. Would you say you're the largest company in Milwaukee for basement repair?
I don't know if we're the largest. We're the best.
Of
We're
course.
the best.
And
That's
you've been around since when? 2004?
2004, 2005,
Okay.
and we started dabbling in basement repair, Dave, early 2000s.
Dabbling, maybe putting up a beam here, putting up a beam there.
We worked for another company. My partner and I at the time worked for another company. They
Okay.
had since gone out of business, and they were kind of looking in that route. So we decided to go off on our own and engaged basement repair and never looked back. And it's taken us where we are today. There is, in southeastern Wisconsin, it's a big marketplace.
Yeah,
Millions and millions of dollars in basement repair gets done here a year.
block.
Mostly block
Mostly
work.
block.
Mostly block work. But a lot of basement repair. Every basement's going to get fixed. It's just a matter of time. It's just like a roof or a furnace. A lot of it has to do with the amount of maintenance that gets done
Mhm.
on a house or deferred maintenance that somebody doesn't do. And some of it's just age.
Sure.
Age will do it too.
So do you? That brings me to a question. What kind of repairs, if any, do you do with a brick basement, or say, for instance, a stone foundation? Are there options?
There are options. So we can fix anything.
Okay.
I'll put a quote on that. Some of them are not worth fixing. And what I mean by that is, for example, I went to a stone foundation today.
Okay.
So I explained to the homeowner, this is a basement that you don't want to put a rec room in. I can get it where it would have to be, but I'd have to excavate everything around the whole perimeter of the property itself and do some real sophisticated kind of enveloping. And really, is that worth it for some folks? Some it is perhaps, but most it is not.
Yeah, with that foundation, I usually tell people you have to anticipate seasonal dampness and seepage. They built them for different reasons than they do now.
Absolutely. So that would be more of a maintenance related
Right.
for surface water. But it can get fixed. In this particular instance, for this gentleman, it was some seepage, and as we were looking, he had some downspouts that went underground, and so something was funky with those. So I talked to him about fixing some of that stuff. And then as far as brick basements, which there's quite a few, especially in the Lower East Side of Milwaukee
Yeah.
or Bayview area, those actually become a useful life issue. Especially,
Really? Okay.
so we run into situations where those walls are displaced, and sometimes there's not an ability to actually fix them because there's not enough integrity left to them.
Sure.
In that situation, we're looking at sometimes on a rebuild on those. But we do that. We do everything when it to foundations, whether it's drain tile work for water management, whether it's steel reinforcements for structural stuff or wall rebuilding. And then we also do lifting. So
Oh, okay.
commercial or residential properties that are sinking, and that we've been finding that a lot because people build in areas, Dave, where they probably shouldn't have. And then the ground starts to settle down, and we can actually go under there with something called piering. We can actually lift the structure up.
And how long does that last? What's the life expectancy on that repair?
On
Forever?
The underpinning,
Yeah.
underpinning or piering, it's a forever fix. I mean, we
Okay.
do warranty those, but it's.
How deep does it go down?
Sometimes 20 feet, sometimes 100 feet. So if you're going, holy cow, 100
Yeah.
feet, some of them go down pretty deep. We've had a couple believe it or not, in Bayview that went down, 60, 70 feet.
Can back to the brick. I got so many questions. What about loose mortar or mortar that's hollowed out on a brick foundation? Can you tuck point that? Does it need rebuilding?
So in most cases, it can be tuck pointed. So tuck pointing, that means just fixing cracks. That's what it means, just fixing cracks. But it's part of home ownership. Just like if you have a wood foundation,
That was my next question.
or if you have a wooden upper structure, I should say, that all needs to be caulked because water intrusion. Same thing with brick or even stone. Some people have the land and stone built on the outside. Those all should be maintained because you're going to develop cracks in them. It's not if, but when. So that's all maintenance. So you put it on your schedule, right? Just like any other maintenance, just like sealing your driveway or something, or oiling your garage door or something. The foundations do take a degree of routine maintenance, I would say.
Okay. And wood foundations, since you touched on that, how often do you see a wood foundation?
So what Dave means by that with a wood foundation is some basements are actually made out of wood. Very rare here locally, though we have fixed probably a dozen of them or so. That means the actual foundation itself, the actual walls underneath the ground are made out of wood. And you're probably thinking to yourself, how does that happen? Well, it doesn't happen often, and there's a reason why, because they're usually complete failures at one point, and we come in and we take them down and we put mortar, we actually build them out of masonry at that point.
You can't even see them. They're usually 100% finished.
Yes, they're usually 100% finished. So
I've been in this business for 24 years, and I've inspected 3 of them. One was in south side of Milwaukee, one was in Eagle, and one was in Waukesha.
yeah, you didn't find a lot of them, and you won't find many of them. They're not building new ones over here, that's for sure. No. What is interesting is some of what is getting built now, ICFs, insulated concrete forms.
Yeah.
And I would expect that viewers would have questions on those too. Those are poured walls that come with insulation on either side of them. And those in the future are going to be very difficult to fix as far as water intrusion. Those have a longer expectancy life structurally, and most certainly even water management wise, but they will crack over time. Now, what we do with poured walls is we inject it with a 2-part polyurethane.
Cracks.
So we drill into your wall, and on either side we can inject it, and we have a very good viability with that procedure. But with the ICS, so if you buy a house with insulated concrete forms, great purchase. Insulation factor is fantastic. If it should leak down the road, would you have challenges? Yeah. We're not seeing many of them at all right now. Will we see more in the future? Probably as much as we'd see any other. But the challenge is going to be how do you find where that leak is. But we're coming up with some ways with some infrared perhaps down the road to be able to
because of that
locate
insulation, you can't see anything.
Can't see anything.
Would you see a lot of those houses are being built now?
I would say there is a not a lot, but we're seeing more of them.
Less concrete, probably, to put it together.
Well, they don't have to worry about the forms anymore.
Right, because the insulation is the form.
Yep, the insulation is the
Yeah.
form, and cost effective wise for those. So we don't do any new construction. Accurate does not build new stuff, so we don't do that kind of construction. But we work with strategic partners out there who do almost a lot of the building of the foundations that you'll see here in southeastern Wisconsin. Coelho is a big one, and Permastructo. Those are folks that we help out and strategically, and good people. So
Okay. Chris, I've tried to prepare for this interview or this, I guess, discussion. I'm trying to find some information about you, who you are, where you came from, but you're a very difficult person to find information on. Everything is about you and accurate. Tell us a little bit about where you came from and how you got where you are today.
well, it wasn't because I was in hiding with the FBI or anything like that. I didn't have that exciting of a life, but I was not a person to boast about me, so I never really went on social media a whole lot, and still don't. There's nothing wrong with it. You might see more stuff about my kids and my
Sure,
wife than
sure.
anyone else right now, but kept it pretty low key. And I grew up here in Milwaukee, south side of Milwaukee, Reha, but south side kid, and went to school here. Graduate from UW Milwaukee, and business, and became a fireman. Did that for 24 years, and at the same time was doing this accurate basement repair. About killed me, but I did it, and
2 full-time jobs.
2 full-time jobs, but kept it pretty low key. And again, Milwaukee fireman, it was a great profession. Have a lot of great friends and a lot of great memories from that. I just retired just recently, so yeah,
All
for
right.
that.
Yeah, good for you.
And spending more time with Accurate and the Accurate family. But it's never been, again, around here, it's never been so much about me as it is about the Accurate and the Accurate way and the Accurate team. Because the homeowners who are having issues with their basements, it's a big to do. So we always thought to ourselves, it has to be bigger than me, because then your warranty or the longevity of your relationship with Accurate would only be whatever my longevity is. So we definitely have created a brand is that has a lifetime to it now. Whether I'm here or not, the Accurate
Right.
brand's going to keep going, and the team will keep homeowners satisfied with their repair and any future things that might
That's
come
a
up.
good move. That's a good move. A lot of home inspectors, they're one-man shows, but if they ever wanted to grow and be a multi-inspection firm, they have to, they're branded towards that one name, and that they kind of box themselves in, so to speak. So that's smart on your business part, to keep the Accurate name as far as the entity to be with.
Yeah, because the warranty that we give out, Dave,
Mm-hmm.
it can't be just as good as a tail light
Right.
when I'm driving down the road, or as good as is the next accident that happens and puts me out of the game or something. It has to be larger than that, so you have some trust in the warranty that you're getting provided.
Warranty's only as good as the company it comes with, right? Or it
Absolutely.
provides it.
And,
Absolutely.
and any company that's out there that says they don't have warranty, people don't call for it. It comes up. Stuff comes up. Just
Yeah.
how do you handle it?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you
Exactly.
handle it? How do you handle it? So that's
Exactly.
what's most important.
So, how many employees now?
We keep it below 50. During the busy time, it could get close to that. During winter time, when we're not doing as much, it could cut in half.
Sure, sure.
But our folks come back. It's construction in Wisconsin, right? You can only do
Yep.
so much at any given time. We generally will fix basements through the winter if you need to get it done for a closing. If you don't need it done for a closing, then generally we can wait. You don't get less of a repair in winter, but I don't make any money in the winter because I get used to it because everything moves slower. So a repair that would normally take, Dave, let's say 3 days, would take 5 days now
Got it. Got it.
because things move slower. And that's
Sure.
okay. We still can facilitate the closing, but otherwise we try to wait for weather that's more appropriate.
Sure, of course. Okay. Um, where do you see Accurate in 5 years, 5, 10 years?
So, Accurate as a brand, we are definitely looking at expanding and also diversifying. So, Accurate as a brand, most certainly we're looking. We're located in Milwaukee proper, sort of east-ish, and we're looking at expanding toward the west for a larger facility. Also looking at perhaps some satellite locations in farther toward Racine, Kenosha, especially now. We had put a lot into the Foxconn, right? Foxconn was this whole
Yeah.
shiny thing, right? And then it kind of fizzled out. Well, now Foxconn is going into the smart car business. So we hope that will bring some real interest in that area. And there's a lot of older homes there. So we're going to look at that area. We're going to look at West Lake Country area is always important. Madison area. Any we're not really looking out of state right now. And then we're just diversifying some of our offerings. We're doing, again, building lifting is a big part of what we're looking at. Well, we're doing that now, but taking that to the next level. Also, concrete leveling. We do that through polyurethane lifting. We don't do mud jacking.
Mud jacking.
We do poly lifting.
Okay, tell me the difference between that and mud jacking.
So the difference between poly and mud jacking is the biggest thing is there's a smaller hole. The hole's about as big as my pinky for poly.
Okay.
And it's the viability of it is much greater. So you have less of a failure because you're not adding weight to that area that's already sinking.
Sure.
And it actually will fill gaps. So for example, if you have a house and you have a patio that's pitched toward the house, right?
Yes.
You want to get that mud jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes you can mud jack up that patio that's tilted toward the house.
Mm-hmm.
Once you tilt it, the underlying part, what that patio sits on, that still might be tilted toward the house. So a lot of times you'll go, hey, I have a leak, and the property may be pitched away, and you're like, hey, I can't figure that out. Why is that still leaking? It's great pitch on this patio. It's the underlaying substructure under it that is pitched toward the house because the stone's on top of it. But if that wasn't leveled correctly, not the stone, because stone is filtering, it's the subsoil under it. That can be pitched toward the house. So polyurethane, that'll fill that gap and it'll prevent the water from getting toward the house.
Oh, really?
Mud jacking doesn't do that as well. No, it doesn't spread as far. Mud jacking fills up little pockets.
Is it more
and it's
expensive?
hollow. A little bit more expensive, but it's not that much more. But it most certainly is I think it's the wave of the future. You're going to see that happening more so than mud jacking down the road.
Interesting. Okay. And you're doing that on a regular basis now?
Yep, weather permitting.
Weather permitting.
That'll start up probably next month.
Does it have, some properties or sidewalk surfaces that are mud jacked, they have the tendency to possibly settle again?
These could too, but the probability is much lower than if you're doing just regular mud jacking.
Okay.
Mud jacking is just a slurry compound. It's a mix of just a concrete slurry, like a mud, pumped down in. They fill up little pockets, and that brings up the concrete.
Sure.
But there's still air gaps underneath it, whereas that foam, once it's filled, it's spread out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good part of what we're doing because it helps complement some of the basement stuff. Because we fix your basement, and all of a sudden the patio's still
Right.
going toward your home. So we go in and we fix that too.
Great.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you being here, Chris. Any last words?
Maintenance. Take care of your homes, people, because that's one of your biggest investments. And we'd like to see you really look at your grading, your gutters, and your downspouts. Keep an eye on those. If you think or you have an issue, please give us a call. And if you're thinking about selling or buying, most certainly reach out to Dave here at Homesight and have a professional home inspection done by a professional team who can help you both on a pre-sale inspection, but also on the buyer's end for an inspection.
Yes, I appreciate that. Thanks for being here. And everyone, Chris Mancuso from Accurate Basement, one of the best basement companies in Milwaukee, if not the best.
Absolutely.
Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.